in the city of Quebec in Canada is a monastery that was founded hundreds of years ago in the 1600s. Today, you can rent a room where the nuns used to sleep many, many years ago. The building is very historic and kind of spooky. It has tilted staircases and wooden hallways from years of the buildings settling and changing over time. The door to my room was really short, and it was a very simple room. No TV at all, just double-paned windows and a lavatory. I'm sure these windows help keep the cold out in the icy winter season. They even have wooden shutters. It looked down over a garden area where the nuns used to grow their food. The hallways are still full of old religious relics, and the wooden floors, the wooden cabinetry, all the old books really gave it an incredible atmosphere. You can imagine those nuns saying their prayers in their rooms. They have a small museum that shows some of the items that the nuns used through the last few hundreds of years, including some of their clothing and even boxes that they used to carry their belongings as they came overseas from France. This was a doll that somebody had brought there. Down in the basement area, it's even spookier. There's paintings and works of art all around the building, and stone foundations, stone floors, things that have been there for a really long time. This was a big room in the basement. It had a lot of religious icons and small windows that were at ground level outside. There's a little passageway you could go to see the basic foundation from back when it was just an old fort and convent. They had to grow their own food, and it was pretty rustic back in the day, but now it's a beautiful garden area. There's still a few nuns living there. They come out and tend the bees, I suppose. I was wondering about all the religious icons and mysterious writing and all kinds of artwork that really piqued my interest. It also served as a hospital for a while, and of course they had really primitive forms of medicine, and their methods were pretty rustic. The table where the nuns ate their meals had drawers where they each kept their own silverware. You can see the drawers. They sat on the benches, pulled out the drawer, and got their plate and silverware out each evening. It was interesting eating breakfast here because it was a silent breakfast. You weren't allowed to talk during breakfast. Next to the convent, they built a really large modern hospital, which actually joins on to the convent, and it's still an operational hospital today. It's kind of a weird thing to see how the two buildings join together. There's all kinds of little outbuildings and a really pretty garden area. I enjoyed exploring in the cool Canadian air. A lot of statues, icons, and even a small chapel where the nuns sang their vespers in the evenings. It was really cool to be in there when they were singing. Here's a really interesting doorway. When you open it, it's a lazy Susan inside, and you place your items, like maybe the baker was bringing some bread for the nuns, on that turntable, close the door, and then the nuns would spin the table around and take the item out of the compartment. This was because they were not supposed to interact with the public in any way. Sometimes people who had trouble taking care of all their many kids couldn't feed their kids. They would bring a baby and put it in this compartment. And because of this, the the convent or the monastery became a home for orphans. At a certain time in history, it served that purpose. And here's the outside view of the chapel of the Monastery of St. Augustine in Quebec, Canada.